welcome to another custom figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the first proper set of this series to look at. Last year for series 1 I looked at the first Doctor's TARDIS interior set, and I did a plan for other sets but I haven't got around to filming them yet, so I will take this opportunity while I have it to look at the Sarah Jane Adventures attic set that I built for the upcoming special that I'm working on. Now this isn't the entire set, because it's such a big set I've actually had to split this review into 2 halves. This is going to be part 1. Part 2 will see the section that goes off round the back, around there, because it's just too much. So this one will be quite a long one, and then next week's will be a shorter look at the other section. So yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. So yeah, let's get into it. So this section is the main section. I'll probably start with this bit down here, which requires me taking off the camera off of the tripod, and I'll just move that out of the way. Now if we go around here, I'll just start from this side anyway, but here is, things get in the way. This is the back of the set. This is the inside here. Now this is one of the last things that I made. Wasn't really, I didn't put there wasn't too much effort put in, but necessary to be to fit with what it's supposed to look like. There was less effort put in because it was one of the last bits, and I put so much detail into the rest of the set, and this side doesn't actually get seen too often, hence why there's a missing roof. That doesn't need to be, it's not shown in the episode. This section is, but only briefly, like once or twice throughout the episode, so I didn't think it was it was worth putting so much effort, because there should be desks and things here, but when you see in the episode, other things are here, so they can't sit, nothing else can fit here. So yeah, basically it's just fitted to the rest of the set, just a lot less detail. I did actually forget to put the door handle on the door. The door does actually open, so I did put some sort of effort in. If we go round, why is it zooming? I haven't pressed the zoom. There we go. Yeah, the door does open. The entire set is made out of foam board. I constructed it at the end of last year. I think it took about 2 months to make, maybe more. Yeah, the set does actually split into pieces. That's why this is, you can see here, sort of a puzzle sort of thing. And along here, this one actually disconnects from this. You can just see there, and it goes around the back. So the set does actually split into 5 pieces. The first piece is this bit here. This goes all the way under the stairs, right around the back to the back. So the one at the back is actually a separate piece. The stairs and the door is a separate piece, and obviously I've talked through this piece, and this piece here as well is a separate piece. The safe wall, and then there's 2 extra pieces around the back, which I'll get to in the second part. But let's move on to the safe. Now the safe wall, I have put quite a lot of detail into this. Safe does actually open. As you can see, there is a box inside, which is why it's not, it's just a bit of cardboard. As you can see, the light is going through. This bit here, which spins, that's actually just held on with a staple and some blue tack. So yeah, that's fun. And pretty much that's all for this part of the set. This is actually a added extra. This doesn't actually hold the set up. It's literally just, it was just an added extra. Once I built that, I thought I'd build this as well, and it's just an added extra. It's not actually in the episode because it's set after a certain era, so it wouldn't be there, but it's like an added extra bit there anyway, so that's a nice feature, and that connects to the roof and makes it look like it's actually supporting, but it does actually just come straight off, and it's entirely hollow on the inside. It's just foam board again, basically the same, and that was painted in the same colour as the wall there, and then I mixed a greenish colour and just sort of created these dirt marks. There's also bits of brown throughout, the same with the actual thing. But I think I will probably disconnect this section now and talk about the other sections in more detail. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, welcome to the next section. Now this is basically the main section of the set, the one that most people will recognise. This is what I started with. It did start with Mr. Smith and then built everything else around it. So basically I'll probably start with the door and then work myself over to Mr. Smith because that's the main centerpiece. So I'll leave that till last, shall I? Yeah, so here is the door, and basically it is hinged by these. These are actually pieces of card, and the door does actually swing open like the other door. And inside here is the detailing of the wooden panels. Throughout this section you can see these lines. That's actually just pen, and then I've just painted over to match it in, basically just to make it look like wooden panels, like actual wooden panels instead of the main roof section. This section actually hasn't been weathered, so I will try to avoid showing that bit. But yeah, this is probably my favourite piece. I absolutely loved making this door. It's such a detailed piece that's just painted to look like the door handle, no actual door handle, unfortunately. If we go around that side, you can actually see that I have actually built stairs on the other side. If we take a bird's eye view, there are steps and really badly painted things. There would usually be a piece of cardboard along here to be the other wall. I've removed that since, but yeah, so from certain angles it does look like it's enclosed. I would say that this section is probably the most inaccurate piece because it's a lot bigger than it should be, but I think it's quite nice. Now if we close the door, you can see that I have actually got hooks with props on it. Now because we don't have many coats and things from figures, I was just using whatever I could find in my props. So you've got the 11th Doctor's coat, jacket, I mean, Sarah Jane's bag, that's the, oh god, I just knocked something. Yeah, the wire portable headset thing, and Seven's umbrella, which is just sort of like a nod back. You can actually see where the other section goes on because I've had to weather where the beam sits. So yeah, I'll come to that bit later. If we just remove that and close the door, it does swing open sometimes. There we go. Thankfully it just locks at certain points. Yeah, the hinges aren't that great because they literally are just held on with a bit of card and the glue didn't stick to the bottom of this one properly. So the door doesn't actually open. That was a pain animating, but that was, I don't know, just something to do. Move on to the steps. Now the steps they started out as just a foam board, and as you can see I have actually weathered them down, and if it will focus please. Yeah, these are actually all separate, or I would say they were originally, so these ones are actually originally all separated. These ones were just cut to there are actually tiny ridges. I've cut it as though it cuts all the way through, and if it will focus for me. God, okay, our manual. No, that's on zoom. Focus, please. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, there is actually a tiny ridge in there. Now they aren't actually cut; it's solid on the back. It's just on the top. And then to bring that out, I've actually gone round in black to separate this as a separate piece, because it stopped there, because that's an A3 size there. So this is a separate piece here. Yeah, and it makes it look more 3D, and it looks like separate I want to say slabs, but they're not slabs, are they? The word just gone. You know what I mean, though. Same with these ones are originally cut into separate three separate pieces, because they're solidly long all the way along. It's just one long piece from foam board, and that connects. Yeah, so those are three, and they're all supported by these things every so often all the way along, all three ways. And inside here, these are just plastic bags. I'll just pull it out to show you. And it's just a bits of Sainsbury's bag from the UK that I've just cut up. As you can see inside that bit, that's where it comes down. Right, if we go here, so inside there, but underneath this isn't attached properly. But yeah, so inside there's a box that goes along, so that this has stable stuff because it's not floating. There we go. Yeah, inside there is a separate piece in here, so there's a little box, and that's why you can see in there. If we can, could you focus for me? Am I going to have to do it manually again? In there is. It would help actually if I just got my phone and put the torch on, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Yeah, if you can see inside there, it's just a separate piece there, just so that it's got some backing. And in here, under there, it goes all the way down the back. Yeah, so that's what's inside the steps to keep them stable. I'll just keep that out actually. So yeah, that's basically the steps. These are all weathered. These have the markings that are in the episodes that I checked were technically there. And then there's books and bits over there to make that look a bit better. Moving down to this piece. Now this is the central support, where the other piece, if I get that, just slots on top. And yeah, there were a load of little props and things, but they've all sort of disappeared or gone places. The ones that's currently seen here is a 2013 Cyberhead. If it all, oh yeah, I'm on the wrong one now. Yeah, there we go. A 2013 Cyberman head, and a Power 3 cube, which they originally started out, that is the side of a spare handles, which, because I bought multiple times the Doctor set, so that's just sitting there. And that is originally a, as you can see from the inside there, there is plastic. Come on, focus for me. There we go. Yeah, it's originally a Idris cube from Doctor's Wife, which I've just painted in black to represent the Power 3. Then there's a grass scanner thing, and also the phone from Sherlock figure, which is just sort of left there. A lot of the props are just randomly thrown in. Down here we've got another handbag. One of the posters actually fallen off. I'll go through the posters in a second when I get to the back wall. The Brigadier's thingies. I forgot, literally the words are just going from my head today. Binoculars, that's the word. Over to the back there's the box. Down here, these are all sort of fallen over, but there's a gun and eye stalk from a Dalek. There's the Churchill phone, and there's some toys which are from the Years of Trenzalore stuff that I did a couple of years ago. There's the jar for the Doctor's hand without the hand in it, from Torchwood, technically. But yeah, that's pretty much, and loads of books everywhere basically, which is fun. I did actually there are a few custom made books throughout, and you'll get to see them in the next episode because I'll probably go through them. But here is actually the Summer Falls book from Bells of St. John. There's also, on this one, is the focus, the sports almanac from Back to the Future, which was suggested by someone on Twitter. A lot of the book, a few of the books were printed from designs that I sent out on Twitter. I sent out basically a competition to design some. So some of the books in the second episode you'll see things. Actually, I'll come back to this because it's quite interesting. Here are 2 screenshots from episodes. These are just nods to the fact that the Sarah Jane Adventures has still continued in the years that it's been off screen for my episode, and that's why they've got references to episodes that have since been in. This does actually light up inside. This is just a bit of paper inside here, and just there you can see sort of a design, and inside there's a light, and it's just paper and then covered in this plastic film to represent the scanner. This actually is, as you can see, it's actually connected to the Mr. Smith lights underneath. If I can, there we go. There is a light there, an LED that comes through the floor, and these run all the way along the bottom and then up the back of the set, which I'll get to later, which is just full of LEDs. Yeah, but that's okay. So that's the scanner. I'll just turn that off and I'll move Mr. Smith across. Right, now we'll look at the back wall and the window, because I absolutely love the bits around here. So if we get here, so here these are just random posters, sciencey ones, to try and fit with the Sarah Jane Adventures. If we zoom in, I'm dropping props behind here. Focus for me. So that's the Earl's Court TARDIS prop. There's various pictures of props and companions and things from a couple of, like, the entire span of Doctor Who. There's also posters, bits of paper with notes and things, alien invasions, basically references to everything. Yeah, so that's the Earl's Court TARDIS. There's the K1 robot from Robot. There's a TARDIS edit thing. Some like Earth stuff. There is the 11th Doctor from the Angels Take Manhattan, sitting on the bench. There is Romana 2 and Tom from City of Death. There's nothing else on that one. Looking over here, there's also some more magazine articles and paper things across. I should have really taken the I've literally just gone from my head. The strap that's when I'm using the camera out. Still got the strap on it, but it keeps getting caught on things in the background. So we've got the phones. That's actually a similar. Some of the posters I did try and match to the actual ones in the Sarah Jane Adventures, so that is one of them. I'm trying to think what that poster is. I think that is, a screenshot from the 1996 movie. That's the TARDIS, just after Sylvester McCoy was shot. So there's one on the corner here, and if things don't keep getting caught, I'll go around this way. Here there is some other TARDIS-y sort of related pictures. They do, some of the pictures originated from, there's another police box there. Some of the pictures actually originated from if you watched my Doctor Who Figure Adventures, Series 5, Episode 5, so when Ellie Kai was trying to track down the Doctor and she had loads of pictures of police boxes, I basically just printed smaller versions of them, of that originally. So there's a few references in there. So you've got, here we've got a map of the world. Down the bottom in the corner there's Jackie and Rose Tyler from The End of Time. It's meant to be 2005. Some more newspaper articles. There is the 11th Doctor and Clara. Come on, focus for me. Just look over there and then back. Come on. There you go. Yeah, the 11th Doctor and Clara from The Day of the Doctor. Is that the same TARDIS? I've got that TARDIS and that TARDIS are exactly the same, and I never noticed. But yeah, there's a few Easter eggs there. Some more TARDISes, some from Classic Who, and some more posters and magazine articles. And over this side, they've sort of started peeling away, but poster thing, and one of them sort of dropped down there, which is, I think, yeah, down there. There's a the TARDIS as it was sat for filming for Deep Breath, which is meant to be Glasgow, but it's actually Cardiff. Yeah, and there's also some on top of the Mr. Smith bit. We'll move around. Actually, we'll talk about the main section of the window. So the main section of the window is again foam board, entirely 3D. There's a little shelf down there which has all the props on, and then the main window, which you can get down here. If we just go down here, and it's literally, as I did with the door for the window above the door. The lights are the window pattern is just painted on the back. If we go round, let's go round. If we go up and round, here we go. So this is basically what it looks like from the other side, and it's entirely painted. If I just try and, this is the background to represent the sky. Yeah, this is actually on its side. That is the set from the opening scene of The Creatures of Nostalgia. I literally just reused that because I'm cheap. If we just, okay, I'm just ripping that now, so that's not working. There we go. So that comes off, and that would be replaced with the night sky bit. Also, there's the stairs from earlier, and the door. So this is the window, and yeah, it's just a basic window. All of this black card is to stop light coming through. Same here, goes down the back, so that because these pieces aren't the same set piece, so that when they're put together the light doesn't travel through. Same around here, but yeah, that is the main window, and it's just plastic on this side, and I think the plastic comes, there you go, you can see the plastic comes along here, that's just stuck onto the back, and yeah, there is the window basically. Yeah, it's pretty dodgy from the back, but when you get to the front around here, it looks quite nice with the light shining through. You'll see that in the episode, and I changed the lighting quite a lot for different scenes so that I can get the best outcome, and the end scene is at night, so the whole set is lit up in a nice gentle dark blue. But yeah, pretty much that is what is that bit section, which means I can get onto the last section of this review, which is Mr. Smith. Now, Mr. Smith was the original piece that I built. It started off with this. The first thing I started was with the screen, because as you can see here, it might look a bit odd, and that is because it doesn't actually have the screen in. I decided for this that the best way of doing it would be to actually have a proper screen. So, using my old phone, I built a casing basically for my phone to slide in and act as a Mr. Smith thing. And there we go. We have a working Mr. Smith. And yeah, it's all based on the screen so that I can pause it, and for certain scenes I tried to avoid having stop motion animation with the screen in shot, because obviously I can't animate it like that, but it does. If I can find, there we go. I'm trying to find all the switches around the back. I'll come to that in a second. But as you can see, I'll just put all the lights on. Here we go. So there is your working Mr. Smith. And yeah, as it is, it's just a basic screen thing. These pieces are just printed tubey things to match the ones in the actual set, which I sort of just photoshopped a 3D thing. The screen, this bit here is just, there's actually tape that goes along here facing this way, so that the actual screen bit here, which is just printed onto card, sticks to the thing, and the screen my phone can slide in and out. The graphics is actually edited by myself using various clips from the Sarah Jane Adventures. So as you can see, there's references to other episodes and things, so you'll see a few of them, not the obvious references, but you'll see like all of the scanning bits and stuff. There's the Pied Piper and the rocks and Sontar and stuff, and it just sort of repeats and then goes back to the main section. Yeah, so we'll start with, if I try and find a lot during filming, I will sit the camera on this, which is why it's not stuck down. Here we go. There we go. I think that'll work. Yeah, so the set does feature a few extra things so that I can film certain things. I don't know what I'm saying there, but if we pull it up, you'll see that that's the main chimney, and there's a piece of roof here that's not actually painted because you'll never see that in shot. As you can see up here, there are actual little plug things, and if you pull these out, they're basically holding the chimney in place, sort of a locking system, and it goes through the back there. And as you can see down there, that is straight down the back of the Mr. Smith. And basically it does mean that this does actually slide down. These are actually holding it up. If you just knock them in, it does slide down into a closed position. And once I've gone through the other section, I will actually go through a proper close Mr. Smith, because I have actually worked out a way to get it to close and everything. But while we're on this section, so these are movable side panels, fully 3D. This is just paper printed, and all of the corner sections around here have also been printed to fit. And literally all it is it's one. So we have one backing piece of foam board, which is this is glued onto. Then a further two repeats of the same backing bit, but cut so that the inside comes out. And then down the back, it sort of created a shell. And then so behind here, you'll see in there's LEDs that are touching the back piece. Because in the real show they sort of go around the edge, and I couldn't achieve that on such a small scale, so I ended up basically just filling the back of it with the blue LEDs, what did I say, and then covering it in a cardboard piece, and all of these details and stuff have been put in. And then there's this one LED that sticks through the thing, as it does on the thing, the show. And the same on this side, just a different set of buttons and things to fit the episode. And what happens is They are actually glued to hinge, and if we focus down here you'll see that the LED light things actually come through the back, and if I am careful they then come out the back through here to this, which is just a massive, let's just move that around there, a massive stop off point for all the LEDs. This one's actually fallen off the side, but this one is the green one I think, and yeah, it goes on and off. This one is the blue one, and that goes all the way through, and then also these are the 3 red ones which sit at the front there. I finalised on 3 colours because in the show they change a lot, but I thought that the blue, the outline had to be green. The lights looked better with red and the side panels being blue. So basically that's what I went for. And as you can see around here, the reason why this is all cut out and there's bits and pieces here is because this is actually the back of the Mr. Smith console. If we go round, it's all hinged and the roof bit comes down so that when this console isn't in use it does actually go inside, and it also meant that I could stop motion animate the actual Mr. Smith opening sequence, so that's fun. The actual console itself was achieved by being a foam board piece. Then around here I've cut the holes to allow the light to come through, and basically at the bottom this is a bit of card that hangs just below, and inside the entire thingy is the green LEDs. They go right through the back, through the bottom and underneath, and you can see them sticking out there. But yeah, this is the actual console. There's 3D sections everywhere. That thing here, this bit here, that actually started off on a flight control TARDIS. It's one of the actual button that goes at the bottom of the flight control TARDIS. I think it came from the one that I used for the War Doctor's TARDIS, I think, because that doesn't have any of the electrics in it. So that's basically just a spare prop thing that I just shoved on. But yeah, let's actually get to the thing. So once what you have to do is pull it from behind, and it's got a little thing so that you can actually pull it. And I think this is sort of a pain to do with one hand, because I think there is just a thing that, yeah, there you go, and basically that just slides in underneath. There we go. And that means that these can hinge and shut. And the way that it's designed is that once it's together with a bit of blue tack, I think there's a bit of blue tack on this one because you don't see that one on camera from that angle, which means that if I just drop this down and zoom out, so if we push this in like so, and then drop this down, it is now, if we just turn the lights off so that they can't come through, yeah, it's a closed Mr. Smith. The green light's still coming through. I'll just turn that one off. But yeah, that basically means I now have a Mr. Smith closed, which is what it looks like at the start of the episode, and I think it looks quite nice like that. Yeah, that's an added feature, which means that the Mr. Smith console now just sat around the back here, and I'll pull it out so that you can see it. And that's what it looks like. As you can see the foam board inside, and there's the underside there, and that's where the lights travel out. And if I just turn it on You'll see around the back here there's this little bit here to stop it from sliding all the way through, and there's the inside of the Mr. Smith thing on the panel. They've actually sprung open, but it's quite cool to see the inside there, and it just hangs there. It's a good job I don't need to use this anymore. But yeah, and the lights just travel through and down the bottom to the bottom, and yeah, that is a Mr. Smith, and he just slides in underneath and comes out the other side, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that is pretty much all I can talk about for this section. That is your entire look at this part of the set. And this is a very, 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 very long video. The next one will be slightly shorter, but this is why I split it up, because there's so much to talk about. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.